Morning! It's actually afternoon. I'm hungry. Let's make some fried eggs. We're gonna do sunny side up and over easy, over medium, and over hard. So we're gonna start with a ceramic nonstick pan. Watch my cookware episode. Throw your Tefal away. Either use ceramic nonstick or use stainless steel. And there's another episode on how to make stainless steel pans or skillets nonstick. So watch that. I'm gonna start with a good amount of butter. And what I'm using is actually the butter that I made the other day. Watch the homemade butter episode, it's fantastic and it's super easy to make. And it's much more flavorful than anything you're gonna get in the store. Plus, there's a sense of accomplishment when you just make butter. And it really just takes about 10-15 minutes. And it's really, really easy to make. Okay, so we've got a lot of butter in here. Oops. Why did that turn off? Okay, here we go. And I am putting in more butter in the pan than you normally would. And I'll explain why. A lot of people are afraid of sunny side up eggs because they think that the yolk is not going to cook enough, right? Because it's just basically sitting there and it's not cooking enough. There's a couple of tricks you can do to help you with that. You can either, once you drop the egg in, you can either cover the pan or the skillet with glass cover so you can at least see what's going on. And that will allow the butter to sort of steam and it will cook the yolk a little bit more than it would otherwise without having it covered. So that's one trick. When you crack your egg, be very careful not to over crack or not to crack it, too hard on the pan because then that will break the yolk. The other trick is, which is what I'm going to do, I'm just going to basically leave this while it's going here. The other thing you can do is, if you take this butter, you can just spoon it over the yolk. That's it. That's all you really need to do to sort of cook the yolk a little bit more. And like I said, you can sort of break the protein, the egg whites a little bit, so you can kind of spread them around and get them going. But really, this is your sunny side up egg, okay? Now, I'm gonna eat it just like that, but I am gonna spoon a little butter on top of my yolk just to be on the safe side. Now, if you cook your whites too much that they turn brown, they're overcooked. Okay, let me repeat that. If you cook your whites too much that they brown, you have overcooked the whites. Now, I know brown whites are tasty and they're beautiful and you just like them that way, fine. But just know they're overcooked, okay? Just try it without, man. Just try it without and experience what an egg should taste like when it's not overcooked. But like I said, I know I like the brown too. But technically it's overcooked, okay? So, just know that. All right, so this is our sunny side up, all right? And instead of plating it, I'm just gonna flip it over and we're gonna make over easy, okay? So, to flip it, super, super simple. Now, grab it, now choke on your spatula. Don't hold it here at the ends. You have too much going on here. Choke on it, right? Hold it towards the end so you have a lot better control. And then grab it from the white side and just gently flip it over. Okay? And that's it. That's your over easy. I'm gonna take that off. So you're basically with over easy, you're flashing the yolk very, very briefly, and then you're taking it off. Now, let's do some over mediums and over hards. So let's get those going. And really the difference between an over easy, over medium, and over hard is really just the amount of time you take to cook the yolk, right? Over easy is going to be super runny. Over medium is going to be less runny. And over hard is not going to be runny at all, okay? So, we are continuing to go. Oh, I don't know. Wow. Interesting. My non-stick is kind of sticky. Maybe it's because I didn't have enough butter going. Yeah, there we go. All right. No big deal. Not a big deal at all. Okay, so we're breaking up the yolk, the egg whites a little bit just to kind of get those going. We don't need to actually in this case because we're really gonna flip it over, right? So let's take this egg here from the white side and gently flip that over. We're gonna go, and I'm gonna take this one as well and gently flip that over. That one I'm afraid broke a little bit, but we're gonna go with it, okay? Actually, no, I don't want to go with it. I am gonna make a note. Let's do this right, okay? Let's do this right. All right, this guy, I am going to pick him up. Put him away. So see, even people who make eggs all the time can mess up every once in a while, and that's okay. You know, that's really, really okay. I'm gonna let this go for a tiny bit, just so that the protein sets a little bit more. And then we're gonna flip it over. That way, I am reducing the risk of the yolk breaking, okay? So, good thing about eggs, they are a fantastic source of protein. They are a fantastic source of good fats in the morning to kickstart your brain, right? And the brain really needs a little bit of fat in the morning to get going. What was I going to say? Don't be afraid of eggs. They're a great source of good fats, good source of protein, really good source of omega-3s. So they are really one of the superfoods in the morning for your body to kickstart its metabolism and for the brain to kickstart its activity. So don't be afraid of it. I love eating eggs every morning to the extent that I can. So don't be afraid of eggs. A little bit of trivia, which you probably already know. Yolks cook slower than, actually yolks cook at a higher temperature than, or congeal at a higher temperature than egg whites. Egg whites, I'm going to take this guy off. That's my over medium. And we're going to get this guy going for a lot longer to do the over hard. Okay, so egg whites cook or congeal between 142 and 148 degrees Fahrenheit. Egg yolks congeal over 148, somewhere between 148 and 154, or 152, I can't remember. Either 152 or 154 Fahrenheit. Which is why you will see that whites cook first and cook faster. By the time the yolk starts to cook, your whites might turn brown. Now, what happens when whites turn brown? They are overcooked. So, to manage that, lower the heat a little bit, right? Go to medium, maybe even go slower. Remember from the scrambled eggs episode, the slower the egg cooks, the more flavorful the egg becomes. And we're going to take that to the extreme, maybe tomorrow, when I make Queen's eggs. That's going to be a fantastic episode for you guys to watch. It takes a long time. It takes about 30 to 40 minutes. So you're going to have extreme patience. It's not something you can do in the morning before the kids run off to school. This is more of a weekend, sip your coffee and work on this for about 30 minutes in the morning, okay? But they are the most incredible eggs you'll ever eat because they are cooked very, very slowly for a long time. So we are extracting the absolute most flavor, extreme flavor you can get out of your eggs. So get really good eggs. Really good fresh eggs, cage-free, organic, whatever you can find at the store that you think is going to result in the most flavorful eggs, get those. Don't cheapen out. And go for it. It's fantastic. All right, let's see. So medium, over medium should be a little bit springy. Yep, that's a little bit springy. Over hard should be pretty hard, right? It should not be springy at all to where the yolk should be completely set and completely cooked. All right? So we're going to let this go for a little bit longer. Maybe, I don't want to flip it again because I don't want to risk cracking the yolk. and breaking the yolk. So we're just gonna let it go. The problem now is that some of these whites that are over here, what's happening is that they're starting to brown. So we know that browned whites are overcooked. Yep. But I don't think you're going to be able to get away with over hard without browning the whites a little bit. So it's just one of those things. You just want to be perfect with your whites. In that case, go over easy or over medium. Remember, over easy is simply cook it like a sunny side up, flip it, give it a few seconds, take it off. Over medium, let it go for maybe another 30 seconds to a minute to where it's nice and springy. Over hard is where it's going to be pretty hard. So I think this is almost there. We're going to pull it off. And I'm going to show you the difference between the two. All right? Okay. So move this out of the way. Let's get ourselves a fork, actually. All right. So here are my eggs. I hope you guys can see this. So this is going to be our over easy. So let me break that. That's your over easy. See that? It's pretty runny. This is your over medium. It's not as runny as your over easy. I could have probably let this go for a little bit longer. And then this is your over hard. As you can see, it's not runny at all. I mean, it's a little bit runny. I could have let it go for a little bit harder. But you can see that the over easy just oozes out. The over medium is still runny, but it's not as liquidy as this guy. And then the over hard is pretty hard, right? It's got a little bit of liquid in it, which honestly is kind of how I like it. But that's sort of your general difference. Again, let's just repeat really quickly. Over easy, sunny side up, make it sunny side up, flip it, give it a couple seconds, you're done. Over medium, let it go for another 30 seconds to a minute. Over hard, just let it go for a little bit longer. Just be careful not to brown. Like I've already browned my whites, so those whites are overcooked, but we're gonna eat them anyway. But that's traditionally and technically speaking, if you're going to culinary school, that's what they'll teach you, is that this is overcooked. I know it's got good flavor, but we're trying to share what the schools will tell you and will teach you and will share with you. But that's sort of your fried eggs. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please like and subscribe to the channel, because the more we get subscribers, the more comments we get, the more likes I guess, for the channel, the more I can see that people like the content and I can make more, and also the more the Google, YouTube algorithm will push content out, right? Will promote content. So I'm not making any money off this. This is just for fun and this is just for sharing. But do like and subscribe so that we can grow this channel and I can put out more content and Google pushes it out. All right? Have a great lunch.